I recently was able to scale this e-commerce brand right here to over $300,000 in just 17 days alone. That's roughly $17,000 every single day. And in this video, we're gonna be dissecting this success step by step and actually understand how this all even happened in such a short period of time so that you can apply this strategy to your own e-commerce brand. So make sure to watch until the very end because I'll be breaking down the store, the background of the store, meaning what product it sells, the landing page funnel, the ads, and much more. But before we do any of that, let's first of all start understanding the results a bit more. So I'm looking at the time period of May 26th, 2023 to June 11th of 2023. And for all of those that don't really believe these results, I'm just gonna refresh this page so that you can see that this is actually fully accurate within this time period. We did over $300,000 in just 17 days alone. And if we change this to the last 30 days, we can see there has been a very steady incline compared to these results right over here where it was only doing $8,000. By the way, this is an e-commerce brand under my Google Ads agency or marketing, and the reason why we're looking at that 17-day period only is because that's when we began work with this account. So because of these dropping results, they started working with us, but that's a story I'll cover later. But for this brand specifically, it's actually a print-on-demand store. So it's a POD store that sells a bunch of gift apparels like shirts for grandma, just overall customizable shirts, which you can actually write your own name on it and gift it as a present to somebody in your family. Very cool store, but nothing unique about the niche itself. In fact, to kind of show you guys exactly what kind of store this is exactly the kind of products itself. So for example, my favorite grandpa shirt, not necessarily a shirt from this store that I'm covering for security reasons, but very similar. So, and these are exactly the kinds of brands we're having to deal with. A lot of customization within this specific niche, which also means a lot of these search terms, which we might potentially be ranking for, are actually not even searched in the first place just because of the customizable factor that goes into play. But I want to go over two different brands which are very similar in terms of design to our brand we're handling under my agency, which is perfecthouse.com. The second brand is called the trendingcustom.com. In fact, I believe because our brand is constantly ranking #1 with Google Shopping and even Google search ads, these brands have copied the layout that we currently have going on for the brand I'm covering in this video. But the landing page, as you can see right when you land on the page, very beautiful, very custom design. Right from the top, you see all the necessary elements such as the pricing, the price off, what kind of savings you do, which by the way is pretty much what we have done for our landing page as well. And then here's one interesting thing which this brand is doing, which I believe so many e-commerce brands are missing out on. For example, let's say that you don't want to buy the shirt, the grandpa shirt, because that's not what you want to buy. Instead, you're looking for a for grandma shirt or for grandparents or just a normal Hawaiian shirt. Well, now you have that option right here. You can directly click on any of these links and actually be taken to that given product, which I thought was very cool, very interesting, which this landing page did right here, which is also something very similar to what we're doing. And we're seeing a very good increase in terms of the conversion rates for these other products. But moving all along now to the product side. So there's two different options, two different variations you can choose from. You have a wide variety of different colors you can choose from. As you change up the different colors, the entire design here changes also, which is very important in terms of laying out your landing page. And then here is where you can actually write something in, and it actually shows you what you write in, which also is a very unique factor to this website, which by the way, our website does as well. And then you get to choose what you want. If you want an aged man in here or a young man, this is entirely up to you. Again, customization now in 2023 and onwards, it's a huge part. People that have customizable websites and customizable products, you need to ensure that your customers can see every single possible variation that they can buy from your store. So you can literally change the color of the man that's right here, and this little effect also comes up on the product image as well. Who would not want to purchase from a product that has this level of customization available? Again, both of these brands have a very similar layout, and if we go down to the description itself, you can see the description is a very small part of the entire portion, and that's because most customers will be impressed by the number of customizations they have the ability to do up at the very top. But again, at the bottom, they have some types of different shipping shipping options, which they are actually promoting instead of just having some kind of timer, which is also what we do. And then if we scroll all the way down, we have these different products available. At the very bottom, there's actually images of the people wearing those products. So this is like a complete package of everything from customization to a very unique, very cool layout of the landing page to something that's actually very fast. If you notice, none of this was laggy, which a lot of customizable websites, they often become very laggy. And then if you come down to the description, very straightforward, direct to the point with certain SEO keywords within the description. And then to end it up, just upsells of products as well as reviews. So nothing too crazy about this, just that it's very professional and is directly relating to the types of people that would buy from this store. So one thing you want to keep in mind is the only reason why we were able to even scale to these levels with Google Ads. And by the way, these are the Google Ads results, as you can see from the beginning. If we actually even change this to all time, you can see our campaigns were just recently launched basically after May. And since that time period, they have just been increasing in terms of conversion value, in terms of the overall ad spend. Things are looking good for this brand. But the main reason why we were able to even get that level of scale incoming is because of the foundation we set up with the landing page, the SEO work we did, and how we ensured our product images, product titles were all properly set up. Because this brings us to the next part of this strategy, which is related to the ads themselves. Now, keep in mind, when you're doing research for these kinds of products right here, you will notice that there's a lot of different keywords within the product titles. As you can see, this one is just favorite people call me grandpa, personalized grandpa gift, favorite people call me grandpa. The reason why it's so kind of varying is because there's a whole bunch of different ways you could search for this product. You might not necessarily just type in my favorite grandpa shirt. You might just type in grandpa shirt or grandpa gift shirt or a gift for grandpa from child, and so on and so forth. In fact, the brand we were just looking at, Perfect House, it is ranking #1. And if you look at their product image, it's completely different and actually standing out compared to all of these competitors right here. This is where kind of the next part of the puzzle comes into play, which is ad strategy. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the product images for this kind of brand are just of people wearing the product or of the product, the shirt itself, on a real lifestyle image, which again, it becomes very difficult to compete if that's what all of your competitors are doing. And don't get me wrong, Perfect House, it does look like it's a lifestyle image as well, meaning it's on a real lifestyle background. But here's the difference they did. Instead of having some kind of plain wooden background, or instead of having somebody wearing the shirt itself and standing somewhere out in nature, somewhere like this one or this one, what they did is they were very smart about it. They actually made the background color a completely different solid color, and this worked like a charm, because if you look across all of these specific images right here, I mean, of course this shirt itself is blue, but again, somebody's wearing it, so it doesn't necessarily stand out too much. However, Perfect House, their background blue solid color, it easily captures your attention. And because of the shirt being white, now you're able to see the design on the shirt. You're able to see exactly what it looks like, which is very important for a niche like this. This is where Perfect House really wins, and this is also where we improved our strategy. We noticed everybody was like a lifestyle image or either just a plain white background image within this niche, so we came in and we completely changed that up. So we started with the product images, then we went on to the product titles. Obviously, not too crazy strategy here, just making sure we have proper SEO techniques, just making sure that we did do keyword research to figure out exactly what our potential customers were actually searching for before we put that within the titles. And here's one thing that really helped us stand out. I noticed a lot of our competitors, they did not have titles which made sense in proper English. I mean, this one, it says personalized grandpa gift, favorite people call me grandpa, man and kids. I don't know about you, but for me personally, that does not make too much sense in proper English. It might make sense for the algorithm, but for me, I would just think of this store as somebody that's unprofessional. They don't know how to write their product titles. They don't know how to write in English, so on and so forth, which of course is going to lead to a bad impression. So this is where we kind of came in. We changed up the entire approach. We made sure that our product title was in proper English and had the right kind of SEO keywords. And then we mixed that up with having very, very diligently priced items that were not too expensive, nor were they the cheapest. We were in fact right in the middle, and one thing I will let you know is that our brand that I'm referring to in this video, we're actually ranking here. I'm not going to reveal it for obvious reasons, but we also added reviews for a lot of the products. So on shopping, we have a lot of these reviews coming up. And then to kind of top it all off, to really make the biggest difference and stand out from the crowd, we also started a sale, like a percentage off, like this one right here or this one right here, which then further gave people an incentive to buy from us. And because of that, our little pricing, instead of being the normal black color, because we also offered a sale on the products, made the price drop. Now our pricing turned the color green. This is where you can make a lot of sales. You don't even have to offer a promo code like this brand did right here or this brand did. You could just have the sale option and just make your price go green, which is exactly what we did. But that was kind of the front end funnel side of things. That brought us to the next step of the strategy, which was the back end, the actual ads. Now, just to kind of give you a clear idea, in the beginning when the results were doing much better than this, so if we go back last 90 days before we even started work, during this time period earlier, the brand was heavily relying on Facebook ads and Instagram ads. That was where they were getting a lot of sales from. Google ads, it was only deriving about 10 to 20% of their revenue. And if we look right here, there's actually no real results before we started the campaigns, simply because the other ad account which they had running for this brand was suspended and stopped completely. So they had to start a brand new ad account, and we started right from the beginning with the ad account itself and started running our strategy on it. So this is exactly what you see going on here. That's why there's not a lot of data before this time period. I mean, it's been exactly 30 days now. I'm recording this video on the 13th of June, but ever since then, the results have gone up steadily over time. In fact, if we look at the ROAS numbers right here for all of the campaigns we have running, we can see we're running at a very good ROAS of 3.05x, and we're getting that ROAS after spending $1,400 a day in ad spend. That's exactly what our budget is set at, yet we are able to achieve a 3.05x ROAS. The break-even ROAS for this brand is about a 1.9x. So we're really only able to do this because of the ad strategy we decided to implement here, which I'll get to very shortly. But just to kind of give you an overview, the brand right now gets 30% of its revenue from Google Ads, where before it was about 10 to maybe maximum 20% of revenue coming from Google, the rest coming from Facebook. So what happened, the reason why they kind of had us start working with their brand, which by the way, if you're currently doing $40,000 or more per month in revenue, you need just a little bit of extra help scaling your brand to the next level, go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can potentially work together and make that happen. But essentially what happened with Facebook was, starting early May, their results basically tanked overnight. Their ROAS went just completely downhill and they were very unsatisfied with the results. So what they wanted to do instead is they wanted to implement a lot of Google Ads so they could stop relying on Facebook so much. And because they had such a heavy budget with Google, we were able to achieve that fairly quickly and just scale it to these levels right here. I mean, in the last 30 days alone, we are looking to have an upward increase going from, again, $8,000 to $21,000 a day in revenue. But along with running now Facebook ads, Meta ads, a lot of the sales are coming from Google ads. They're also heavily involved with email marketing as well as SMS marketing. So keep in mind, this brand is like running a whole funnel, not just Google ads itself, which so many e-commerce brands fail to understand. It's good that you're relying on Google ads for traffic, but it's not enough to just rely on Google. So this brand is doing that right, and we're up to about 30% in revenue coming from Google ads. But when it comes to Google ads, there were a whole bunch of issues which we had to deal with right from the beginning. The first major issues was conversion tracking was a big mess, and there was double tracking going on in terms of sales for their old ad account. So as a result, a lot of the data they were seeing was actually not even accurate. So we fixed that up. Then we moved on to shutting off any overspending campaigns. If we go ahead and change this to all, before we even began work, they were actually already launching some campaigns. The campaigns had begun to actually spend money. So if we look right here, a lot of these campaigns are already paused, and these were the campaigns which they were personally running, but they were not really ideal for the strategy that we wanted to launch, nor were these campaigns really getting results. I mean, if you look at the ROAS, it's a 0.15x for a campaign that spent $1,000. This PMAX campaign was running at a 1.74x. This discovery campaign was 0.83. I mean, the results were completely horrible. So we had to shut those campaigns off and come in and develop a brand new strategy. So here's exactly what we did. Essentially, the 2-2-1 launch strategy, which was 2 shopping campaigns, 2 search campaigns, and 1 display display, discovery, or a YouTube campaign. And what I'm referring to is these two shopping campaigns right here, which now we kind of expanded onto multiple different shopping campaigns. We launched more campaigns right here, which are for different countries. But when we originally began, it was actually just this major campaign followed by this one right here. And the strategy here was fairly simple. We just had all of the products in there running with a few assets. And this is completely different from what I usually preach in my other YouTube videos. And the reason behind this is they have a very huge budget for these PMAX campaigns. And as a result, it makes sense to group all of the products within one PMAX and run it at a very high budget, which is exactly what we did. But for the search campaigns, we kept the strategy fairly simple. We had one branded search campaign originally running, and then we launched a dynamic search campaign, which, as you can see, it's not really spending money even now, but this was a dynamic search campaign for both cold traffic as well as retargeting purposes. And then finally, we launched a display campaign, which no longer is running because it was not really providing results. But the main things we looked at to even develop this strategy was, number one, the niche itself. Believe it or not, the niche that you run with makes a very big difference in the strategy that you launch. Because this was a very customized approach brand with many customizable products, it didn't necessarily make sense to kind of group them together or just have a lesser number of products within each individual PMAX campaign. That's simply because it would take way too long for it to get data and actually scale to the next level. So we wanted to keep everything very organized and in one specific PMAX campaign because of also the budget. But we also looked at the average order value. In this case, the average order value is fairly low, in this case about $31. So we didn't want to risk in terms of the cost per purchase. We wanted it to be very low and something that would be profitable for this brand. I mean, right now the cost per conversion for the PMAX, it's $12, which is absolutely insane. Some of the PMAX campaigns for international countries are much higher, but on the whole account level, we're running at a $12 cost per purchase, which is exactly what we wanted to happen with this brand. But once all of this strategy was actually running, that was only the first part of the battle. The next part was actually scaling it to the next level, because again, we were running this at a fairly high budget right from the beginning. So we knew that we didn't have to give it too much time to understand whether our strategy would really even work or not. So by about the first to the second week, we were already noticing very good results coming in. I mean, on some days we were spending $300 to make back $1,600, which was more than what the brand was really profitable with. And that meant we could aggressively scale it to the next level. So we went from spending $300 a day all the way up to $700, $800, even $1,200 in terms of ad spend. And right now the main goal has become to keep this ad spend very steady, and in fact, over time, increase it to $5,000 to $6,000 ad spend. But all of this is only going to be possible if we optimize the campaigns properly, which is the next part of the puzzle. Now, with optimizations, you do not want to be too quick in terms of what changes you make, because despite having a high budget, you need to let the campaigns optimize. You need to let the algorithm really reach the right audience for you before you can make any changes within the campaign. So that's exactly what we're doing here. We're giving it about 4 to 7 days for almost every single campaign here to optimize, and then for us to actually go in the back end and change the things necessary to make the campaigns perform even better. But that's pretty much exactly how we have been able to scale this brand from $8,000 a day to over $17,000 and $20,000 every single day, which is roughly $300,000 in just 17 days alone. Again, if you're doing $40,000 or more per month in revenue, you need just a little bit of extra help scaling your brand to the next level. Go on to my website at globalmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can potentially work together and make that happen. But I want you to watch this video right here on how to hack the Google Ads algorithm so your brand can also get results like these and more.